What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now in this segment right here, we'll be going over the first wave of statement games that the Knicks had this season. The matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Miami Heat, the Phoenix Suns, and finally the knockout game involving the Milwaukee Bucks for the in-season tournament. And in this first set of statement games, this gives us kind of a look into the crystal ball of how the Knicks kind of perform against the top-end teams so far to start off this season. As the schedule, even though we're still early in the season, has been rough with all the back-to-backs leading to these slated games at the end of November going into early December, and followed by pretty much a difficult December schedule all the way through. But with Quentin Grimes making his way back into the Knicks rotation in the Minnesota matchup after coming off an injury, the Knicks pretty much had their full roster going forward. So we'll take a look at some of these marquee matchups. I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Alcohol, right?
So just on a quick tip, the Timberwolves love starting two centers. So any miscommunications on the screens, it's going to result in a lot of mismatches as we're already playing a lot smaller. Take a look at Brunson and Gobert right here on the help. So that's easy money right there. And the Timberwolves pretty much in this game, they dominated in the paint. Now to start off this season, the Knicks and T-Wolves almost mirror each other. But the Knicks at times, they have players who play bigger than who they are. Guys such as Josh Hart right here. But the T-Wolves, even their bench unit is a lot larger than the Knicks. Pretty much, I believe Mike Conley is their only true guard. I believe maybe under 6 feet or just 6 feet flat. But pretty much most of their guys like Shake Milton are 6'5". Alexander Walker 6'5". I mean, even the Sloth man right here, aka Kyle Anderson, is 6'9". And you got Naz Reid right here at the same height. And just look at him just take advantage of Josh Hart, 6'4". The only guard for guard matchup is right here. But you got the 6'5" Milton on quickly. But Milton is a bigger player. He could play forward too. He could play small forward. But that was just too easy on Josh Hart. At times, the Knicks this season, we're just too small at times. And I'm praying, hoping that the Knicks do something with Evan Fournier's contract and get an actual forward. Because teams like this is a matchup nightmare for us. Okay, so at this point right here, we're almost at halftime. And this is why sometimes I question if Tibbs' offense is running on some sort of robotic formula. Because this screen right here by Mitchell Robinson, while the T-Wolves play two centers, Towns and Gobert, why is he running a screen? There's no advantage for Julius Randle. Look, off this screen, what is the advantage right here? He's going one-on-one with an all-NBA defender right here. There's no advantage. As you're going to see it play out. There's not even an advantage for Mitch. You back on the center. There's no advantage for Julius Randle right here. And he takes a really tough shot. See, in plays like this, the Knicks always have Mitch screening up top. If Mitch is going to throw a screen, even if Mitch is going to do it himself, it should be way up here. First of all, it should be way up here. And second of all, they should have another player like Brunson, Grimes, or RJ throw a screen. So they could potentially, so Julius could get a potential mismatch with one of these guys. Particularly, maybe Brunson should have threw this screen. Julius could have one-on-one with Conley. And then Brunson could have had a possible one-on-one out here with Gobert or the slower-footed Towns. But this right here is not going to lead to any advantage. I don't know if this is just something the Knicks are just used to doing, but they're playing with two centers, man. Come on. There's no fucking advantage. No advantage right here. No advantage from Mitch and no advantage from Randle. So this is why sometimes we wonder if Tibbs' offense is just running on fucking 1950s robotics. And right here, Mitchell Robinson shouldn't be the only one throwing screens because there would be no advantage. And also, Alexander right here, man, he's really good at just going under these screens. Same thing for Jalen McDaniels. This team actually prides itself on that. That's why they're one of the best defending teams in the league right now. But he actually plays it right. And then RJ goes for the air ball, of course. But now spacing right here was initially poor. Let me take a look at this again. Nothing happening right there. But it would be nice to see somebody else throw a screen. Now look at Grimes. He has Connolly on him. Throw a possible screen right here, or maybe Brunson throws screen after throwing his pass. Throw a screen for Grimes. You know, make something else happen. Someone else throw a screen besides Mitchell Robinson all the time, because he has an all NBA defender with him. So it's not going to really lead to, you know, a real mismatch unless it's way out here. If Mitch is going to come screen for Brunson, do it out here to bring him out. So in case they make the pass, Brunson, RJ, they could all attack the hoop without having Gobert right down there to block the shots. So Mitchell Robinson is very vital to the Knicks offense, as he's pretty much the heart and soul of it, just giving us second chance opportunity after opportunity, especially in games like this when we're not shooting well. We finished the game shooting about 24% from three, but him just grabbing 7 boards, even though he was battling down low with Rudy Gobert, it didn't matter. He was still a pest throughout this whole game. And just emphasizing the importance of Mitch, it's just not just the offensive rebounding, it's what comes along with it. The fact that the Knicks 3-point shooters, that's probably going to be the most wide open that they're going to be once he grabs that board and he quickly finds the next man open. But we're going to take a look at a few of these second chance opportunities. Mitch right here giving us another possession. Look at Gobert holding Mitch. He's going to get a call on that. And this is just another possession Mitch gave us outside of the 7 rebounds. So you're seeing the importance of Mitch right there. So with Rudy Gobert resting, the Knicks, this is prime time for them to come back or just take a huge lead. As we see Mitchell Robinson here matched up with Naz Reid in the interior, as Julius Randle's going to find quickly wide open. Look at Mitch fighting for the boards. But look at, once Mitch comes down with that rebound, that is the best time for the Knicks 3-point shooters to be wide open. Mitch should have a ton of assists this season, but he should be looking for the shooters right away. Yeah, so we struggled to make our 3-point shots, but as you can see, we're getting wide open looks. Once again, look how wide open DiVincenzo is. The Knicks have their best opportunities to make threes once Mitch gets that offensive rebound. There's always a guy open. Now look at Brunson. I'm telling you, there's always someone open. Once Mitch comes down with that rebound, he might as well just dish it right back out immediately. Sort of play taps with that. Now I know right here, Mitch just crossed the shit out of Gobert, leaving him in the dust. But right here, let's just say if Mitch was like a threat from 3-point range, you see right here, the T-Wolves now are vulnerable. Right here is wide open. Guys' shots is not going to be as altered. So I'm just wondering if the Knicks had like a stretch big just to pull Gobert out. But with him right here, now Brunson could easily attack the paint, have a better opportunity to finish. Same thing for Randle, and same thing for RJ. But when he's down there, man, like Gobert really causes issues. And it seems like from last year to this year, he has gotten more accustomed to being on the Timberwolves, and he seems more comfortable, as he looks like he's pretty much returned back to his all-NBA defensive self. And is a big reason why the Timberwolves are one of the top teams in the Western Conference to start off the season. Quentin Grimes right here has an open shot. It was wide open. Yeah, his man Edwards had 23 points, almost 50% shooting. It's only so much good defense could do in this era. Just between him and RJ tonight, it's been a struggle. And when you have multiple guys off their bench getting double figures, and you got starters out there not only shooting bad percentages and just getting no points, yeah, you can't have them in there any more than 20 minutes a game, if at that. Now this season from Quentin Grimes, we want to see more off-ball movement and more of him putting the ball on the ground and making things happen. As things tend to open up for Quentin Grimes, as other guys are going to make their cuts, get open in the lane, and also he could draw some contact and go to the free throw line. As you can see, when Grimes puts the ball on the floor, more things happen for him. He doesn't have to just settle from here and here all the time. Look at Quentin Grimes right here. I'm telling you, there's something about him when he puts the ball on the floor. He makes shit happen. See, usually that's a good closeout by Kyle Lowry, but look at Mitch. Mitch been open for the alley-oop. But tell me, man, something about Grimes, man. If he puts the ball on the ground, guys tend to start crashing in and shit starts to happen. So right here, 10 seconds left in the shot clock. Grimes was wide open. Could have pump faked it too. Put the ball on the floor. Perhaps Brunson could have went back here, moved off ball. Who knows? Sometimes Grimes doesn't have to rush it. By the time he missed, it was still 7 seconds left on the clock. Quentin Grimes right here has an open shot. It was wide open. Yeah, his man Edwards had 23 points, almost 50% shooting. It's only so much good defense could do in this era. Just between him and RJ tonight, it's been a struggle. And when you have multiple guys off their bench getting double figures, and you got starters out there not only shooting bad percentages and just getting no points, yeah, you can't have them in there any more than 20 minutes a game, if at that. Now I understand the Knicks were at the end of a 5-game road trip, but this T-Wolves bench unit is in sync right here. I mean, they're gonna throw 2 screens, a screen on the screener, and Shake Milton is gonna go around and try to become a 3-point threat, which quickly is gonna try to draw back and try to cover him. And at the same time, Mike Conley is gonna go down here and just have an open lane to go downhill. Meanwhile, everyone's gonna kind of get confused as Rudy Gobert is gonna try to go down the middle. Pay attention to Gobert right here after the screen. It's gonna go straight down and be left wide open. The play kind of ended up sloppy, but let's take a look at it again, because they almost didn't get this off. Yeah, take a look at the screener. Screen for screen. And then look at the ball handler. No, look at Shake Milton. He's gonna go around. He's gonna go around right here. And then quickly he's gonna end up following him. And then everyone at the end of it's gonna end up following Connolly, including Hartenstein, which is gonna leave Gobert going straight down the middle. But we're gonna go over this real slow. Look at the screen, second screen coming right here by Naz Reid. Guys are not communicating. Like, they ran 3 actions right here. Guys are not communicating. Look at Shake Milton going around quickly, and DiVincenzo, they're gonna kind of wonder where he went. Look at that. It's like complete confusion right here. See, once again, he's going around, and it's gonna leave Gobert right here just to go down the middle. But look at Connolly. Connolly stayed patient, weighing his options to see. Look how many guys. Look at Gobert being a screener for Shake. Quickly, probably just looking. He knows Shake is possibly could be open. And this pick right here kind of throws off Hartenstein, as he's probably, you know, kind of have Shake Milton in the back of his mind. Let's see how it plays out here. We see that initial stutter step breakdown. Okay. Quickly, he's kind of lined up where Shake Milton is at. But who's left open? Like, yeah, this play, they almost didn't get that off. But this bench unit, the ball was moving. They got 15 assists. They got more assists than the Knicks starting unit. 15-10. And they outscored the Knicks bench unit 40-30. Now, remember how I said earlier that this team is almost a spitting mirror image of the Knicks, as far as them having length, playing great defense, They got the 6'9" Anderson on Brunson right here. And then Alexander right here, man. Look at him on this closeout. Just look at him on this closeout. Wow. Like, this is crazy that they didn't even have Jaden Daniels, and the Knicks just arms everywhere. Guys are in the way. I mean, you got Naz Reid right here. Usually their lineup is killer when they have Naz Reid, Jalen McDaniels. They have Anderson. I mean, this is just a bench unit itself, and this is where we should really be trying to attack the hoop because Gobert ain't out there. But yeah, these guys are wreaking havoc right here. And the Knicks even settle for a 3-point shot once again. But without the big man there, we should be attacking the hoop. We should definitely be attacking the hoop. So Ant-Man relatively had a quiet first half, but in this third quarter alone, he just killed it. I knew something was up once I saw him doing these Jordan type moves, which this season he's just coming out of nowhere, man, with this. It's just something about playing in those Olympics. I tell you, boy, they have guys ready for the season for real. Now up top right here, we're gonna see Anthony Edwards come off this flare screen. And this is why Quentin Grimes, his good defense can only hold up so much, because when guys like this get going, you gotta score some points, man. Just going 0 for 6 is just not enough. Yeah, but Edwards he's definitely on one right here. Edwards right here, he finishes through contact. Little stutter step. Man, look at the elevation, and he finishes through the contact. He is strong as hell. Definitely, Edwards is elevating himself this year, boy. I'm gonna need some of that Olympics magic to sprinkle on into RJ. And also some of the other guys, like Brunson. Edwards right here showing the evolution of his passing. Like I said, he was on one in this third quarter. Just drawing that defense, making things happen, man. Edwards. That boy was on some shit. Look at that. This is all in the third quarter, y'all. All in the third quarter. So Rudy Gobert all game has been changing the kind of looks that the Knicks players have been getting down low. Look at Randall right here. Once he spots Gobert is really a deterrent. Completely. He does this to a lot of teams. Completely changes the shot selection, especially when guys get close. See, he changes the shot. So pretty much this right here, the last play of the third quarter pretty much summed up this game. Where if you look at Alexander right here, the T-Wolves have plenty of wing players who know how to move with these screens. They know when to go under, when to go over. Look at Alexander. He goes right under. Nothing. He's constantly moving. He's constantly fighting through the screen. And in a game where the Knicks 3-point shot is not falling, the Knicks shot about like 25% from 3. So without the shot falling, no ball movement, the Knicks from the starting unit to the bench unit got pretty much outclassed just alone by the T-Wolves bench unit. And going up against these teams, thank God in a way Jalen McDaniels didn't play, because you would have had Alexander Walker and McDaniels, and at the same time Naz Reid along with Rudy Gobert in the middle. That's a deadly defensive lineup. And these guys can shoot threes. So it would have been a tougher matchup, but the Knicks just overall with our 6'4" guards in particular, along with RJ, you know, the Knicks don't really have him guard other shooting guards, particularly guys who can score. I guess they're trying to conserve his energy. But when you have just a combination of those things, man, guys are not moving the ball. Us just going up against these bigger wing teams, man, it's just all season long, it's been an issue. And you could look at it from the Celtics matchup to this matchup. And low-key, it even kind of played out that way in the Pelicans matchup when we made that trip down to New Orleans after that Atlanta game. I don't know if it was because of the back-to-back, but this game right here was the last game of our 5-game road trip. I don't know if guys were tired. It's still early. Tibbs is still figuring out these lineups, but when we go against these teams with these large 3-and-D wing guys who can shoot threes, they got long arms, they get in the way. We can't have so many turnovers, and we have to have another game plan if the 3-point shot isn't falling. But once again, I know it's still early, but this T-Wolves matchup, the Knicks should have played them as if they were playing the Celtics. Because just the makeup of this team and low-key how expensive it is, this team is going to be definitely one of the top contending teams. But just having their bench unit get 15 assists and our starters only get 10, when we have everyone healthy for the first time and they're pretty much playing with 2 centers, this is not a good sign. But I expect the Knicks to come out slinging the next time they play the T-Wolves, because we definitely got to ass bust in this game. So this matchup right here played out very similar to last season, which both teams didn't really shoot well, but one team is pretty much going to take away from what another team does, particularly the Heat. They took away the Knicks' offensive rebounding with that 2 and 3 zone defense that they love to run. And also they capitalized off the turnovers Julius Randle had in the first half. He had 6 turnovers. The Knicks overall had a bunch of turnovers in the first half, and the Heat were able to capitalize, scoring 25 points off of Knicks turnovers. But just having Julius Randle turn the ball over 6 times in the first half, man, once the Knicks started cutting down on that, they started making their run, because overall the Heat, they didn't shoot well. And this team is very up and down, similar to us with the shooting. But once again, we can't have 6 turnovers from one of our captains. There's another one. Careless cross-court pass by Randle. Missed him. At least that right there didn't lead to any transition points. So speaking about the Randle turnovers that lead to transition points, look at it right here. The worst thing about it is going to be the effort. Careless pass, but look at the effort. Look at Randle. Let's take a look at that again. Just a careless passing. I don't know if that was supposed to be a handoff. What was that? And then just look at Randle. Look at Randle. Man, god damn. So just keep in mind, that was the 4th turnover by Randle in the first quarter alone. And now the score is 28-23. So we're just only down by 5. The Heat are not shooting anything crazy, but just all the turnovers are leading to most of their points. So a lot of these things are definitely avoidable. Another turnover by Randle. Leaving his feet. Trying to make a pass. And it leads to more points in the other end. Now, once again, we're still in the first half, and look at the score right here. We're only down by 2, and Randle right here, another turnover as he travels. Move that pivot foot a little bit too much. Yeah, he gets called for the travel right there. Another turnover. 6 for Randle in the first half. So when you add that to Miami just taking away our ability to get offensive rebounds, you begin to see why the game is tight. You begin to see why the game is playing out the way it is. And Miami has half their points off of our turnovers. 25 points off of our turnovers. And they're shooting like shit. But yet we're only down by 2. So we have many strikes against us. And just like last year in the playoffs, we're pretty much shooting ourselves in the foot. Once we start to cut down on some of these things and get more disciplined, the game will begin to switch over in our favor. The Miami Heat are a fundamentally sound team. Check out the box out right here. And low-key, Kevin Love, no wonder he used to be the double-double machine. He low-key, man, he could box out anybody. But there is a concerted effort in keeping Mitch off the glass in this game. Overall, I've never seen the Knicks this season has such a low offensive rebounding effort than in this game. So to start off the season, it seems like the Knicks got back into bad old habits of just being inconsistent from quarter to quarter. As just to start off this third quarter here, the Heat going a 19-0 run, and we're starting off with just getting another turnover from our key leaders. RJ Barrett in this particular play, but the Heat in the first half had 18 points off of our turnovers, and just in this quarter alone, they added about 7 more points off our turnovers. This is another missed opportunity right here. Next possession, a turnover. Now, I'm always saying that I hate the fact that Mitch is the only guy that's just always throwing screens. But look at the Knicks right here try to attempt like some sort of stagger screen. 2 screens are being set. But look at the screen that Randle sets here, man. This shit is lazy. What is that? It leads to no advantage. 1-on-1. Randle doesn't even roll. Nothing happens here. The Knicks are back up to square one. There's no advantage here. Just leads to Brunson just dancing, and it leads to a turnover into a fast break. Let's look at it again. Now, look at Mitchell Robinson right here as he's going to roll. Excellent roll by Mitch. The only thing that doesn't mess up anything right here is Randall. Not only the screen was poor, it was easy for, I believe that's Highsmith, to get over, but Randall does not roll, causing Bam and the other defender right here to react. There's no reaction, and then Randall could have kept his man behind him. He should have rolled to have some sort of action happen right here. Perhaps maybe some sort of collapse, some confusion. Randall gets the ball. This defender would collapse here, and the pass would go out to Grimes. Something like that could happen. But look, because Randall doesn't roll right here, there's no rolling. Look at that. His man is still behind him. He's walking. He's actually been walking, and his man is still behind him. Imagine if he rolled right here, which this is the area that kills this Miami fucking 2-3 zone, man-to-man zone defense that they sort of play, this combo between the two. But Randall does not roll. Mitch is the only roller. Look at that. Mitch's man is with him. Had Randall rolled, he would have put pressure on this defender right here. And he would have had Highsmith right behind him. There would have been at least some sort of action to put the pressure on this Miami back line. But because Randall didn't roll, nothing happened here. There's no advantage. Brunson just one-on-one running into a bunch of defenders right here. As we're going to see it play out. Look at that. Defender's able to set up on him. Look at that. 3 guys right on him. As we take a look at this one more time, look at Mitch as he rolls. All right. He's drawing this defender in, kind of stunting a little bit. But the fact that Randall didn't roll too and just take advantage. Look at all that space. Look at the spacing that's going to open up right here. Imagine if Randall just rolled. Just roll. See? Look at the spacing right here. Had Randall occupied that space, have Hightower trailing behind him, he could have applied pressure on Bam to make that split decision. Hey, do I drop back to guard Mitch? Or should Jimmy stunt in and guard Mitch, leaving RJ open while Randall occupies his space so Bam could step up to Randall? Nothing. The fact that Randall didn't roll, he didn't apply any pressure on this back line right here. Taking a look at this again. Look at Mitch roll. Look at the instant pressure right there. This split decision right here, where Jimmy's like, okay, let me step up to get in Mitchell Robinson's way a little bit. And then Bam would have to make a decision as Randall is rolling. Hey, am I sticking with Mitch? Am I going to allow Jimmy to kind of back him up? And then Randall would step up right here. And then Brunson would read what the defenders are doing. Brunson would actually read what Bam's decision is right here. If he sticks with Mitch, the pass is to Randall. He could make a through pass. He could thread the needle right here. Bounce pass to Randall as Highsmith is trailing right behind Randall. Something could have happened here. And then Randall could apply pressure to this back line right here. Jimmy could stunt to Mitch, leaving RJ open. So Randall would initially make that pass to RJ. Something could have happened here. The fact that Randall did not roll and occupy this space. We're going to watch here as that space kind of opens up. Look at that space open up. Look at this space open up. Randall could have been here applying pressure. Brunson probably could have hit the bounce pass. Even if Brunson didn't pass it, the fact that Randall has Highsmith trailing him and he's almost operating within this space, which is the weakness of this 2-3 zone that Miami runs. This 2-3 man-to-man, kind of half zone, half man-to-man. This is the weak point right here. Randall could have occupied that space, applying pressure to Bam and Jimmy. The fact that he didn't roll and occupy that space, look, nothing happens right here. Nothing happens. Once again, just look at Randall right here. We're going to slow it down. Just look at Randall. Imagine if he rolls. If he rolls. Nothing. Look at this space. That's the weak point to this play right here. Had Randall occupied that space, he would have applied pressure. Brunson would just have to make the read. Now this turnover right here, I don't mind at all. As we're going to see this play out, Randall and Brunson is just running multiple actions here. And it's up to Hartenstein to make this read, which he read it perfect. Just the pass was a little off, little confusion. And that split second for one of these defenders to read, who's guarding who, that's when Hartenstein is supposed to read the decision. He read it perfect. The pass was just a little bit over, and it's just another turnover. But I don't mind these type of turnovers. Let's take a look at that one more time. Just this split second right here of who's guarding who. It's almost impossible to communicate in a situation like this. But Hartenstein makes the correct read, which is leading to Brunson wide open, attacking the lane. And this is unfortunate. This is another turnover. But this third quarter in particular didn't go well for the Knicks, as the Heat outscored them 37-20 overall. But look at the clock right here. There's 3 minutes left in the quarter, and Jimmy Butler is still in there. And I believe that might have hurt the Heat in the fourth quarter as he kind of ran out of gas. Now, before we get into the fourth quarter, low-key right here is the point of the game in the last few possessions where guys like Quickly, Hartenstein, and Josh Hart actually provided a spark off the bench. And look who's still in the game in this third quarter, Jimmy Butler. He's going to close out and finish out this whole third quarter. And some of the Miami Heat guys are starting to run out of gas. And it pretty much started under 2 minutes here. But Quickly hitting another three-pointer, and just the hustle of Hartenstein, and then Josh Hart just checking in and providing that other 1-2 punch. It's just, even at this moment in the third quarter, it's kind of beginning to be overwhelming for the Heat. I believe just having Jimmy out there so long, this team pretty much ran out of gas. And this pretty much is going to be a scenario for the Knicks all season long, where they're going to have to win the battle of the bench units. In this game right here, the Knicks bench unit outscored the Heat bench unit 37-24. But again, all season long, the Knicks bench unit are going to have to win these battles, particularly in nights when our shots are not falling and when we're not getting as many offensive rebounds as this exact scenario is playing out in this game. But our bench unit could serve us sort of like a boxer using a jab punch to the gut. You know, over time, round by round, if he uses it effectively, the other guy's going to get tired. So we're pretty much going to tire teams out, especially with the guys we have, man. Hartenstein is all over the place, just fighting, clawing. Same thing for Quickly and Josh Hart. For some of these teams, it's going to be pretty much overwhelming. But we're pretty much seeing this play out with the Miami Heat, as this roster is not as youthful as they once was in the past. A lot of vet guys on this roster. So once again, this bench unit, pretty scrappy to begin this fourth quarter. As you see, Dante DiVincenzo with the steal, but he stepped out of bounds. The defense from the second unit was in sync. Great help. Quickly, good recovery. DiVincenzo applying the pressure, and look at Josh Hart applying the pressure also. And the Knicks were able to get the possession. Like I said, because of the Knicks second unit, teams are going to have to fight all 4 quarters. DiVincenzo fighting through that screen. Quickly, Hartenstein gets in the way right here, and then quickly recovers, so no advantage again. And a great defense by Quick right here to get the block. Like I said, Knicks second unit, man, they're clicking. You got to love this lineup right here. DiVincenzo, RJ, Josh Hart, Hartenstein. You already know you're gonna get a pretty much turned up lineup. Great energy off the bench. And then RJ knocks down the 3. We lit. There's just a couple of plays that just changed the momentum of the game, particularly right here. When Hart got this rebound and his putback, it just completely changed the momentum of the game. The Heat could feel it. The Knicks bench unit, particularly when Tibbs is kind of slowly subbing the starters back in, just that in-between unit is just applying a lot of pressure. And that unit is really successful, whether it's RJ, Hart, Hartenstein, Quickly, and DiVincenzo, or you can mix and match them, add Brunson, and then have Quickly and Brunson up top. Or even if you take out Josh Hart, have Quickly, Brunson, RJ, and Hartenstein. It's something about those combinations is hitting teams a certain way. So all season long, whether we have certain rough patches, whether it be the 3-point shooting, us just having a lot of turnovers, teams are still going to have to close out that third part of the Knicks team, which is that bench unit, just that combination, because that unit just provides a different type of spark and a different type of 1-2 punch combo. It's really catching certain teams off guard, and you can see it with the Miami Heat here. These guys had a hell of a third quarter. Jimmy Butler played the whole third quarter and took a 5-minute break right here. check back in, and the energy level is just not even the same. Even number 22 right here, Juarez, he does not have the same energy level. The reoccurring theme in this fourth quarter, besides the timely scoring, just getting these and ones, was the Knicks just not turning the ball over, not allowing the Heat to get points off of turnovers. In the first half, they got 18. By the third quarter, they got 25. We started limiting those, and that's all she wrote, because after those 25 points in the third quarter off of turnovers, they never got nothing after that. So just us being disciplined, things started going our way. So this matchup right here was definitely a must win, but it still leaves us scratching our heads a little bit and just asking for a little bit more, because things were very inconsistent going from quarter to quarter, and our bench unit kind of rescued us in this matchup. And we had a lot of turnovers from our key guys, particularly Julius Randle, 6 in the first half. We gave up too many points off of turnovers, even though Miami for most of this game was shooting like shit. But once we got disciplined, things started to move our way. But in matchups like these, where you know the Miami Heat is well disciplined, well coached, they took away our offensive rebounding, they capitalized off our turnovers. Once they start taking away the things we tend to do well, what's going to be our other options? And as we see here, the bench unit is definitely an option, especially led by Emmanuel Quickly with his 20 points. But it's definitely still early in the season, but at least Tibbs has a very interesting rotation. His in-between rotations do provide sparks for the Knicks from time to time. But the consistency is still hard to tell what's going to happen. But just judging from this particular marquee matchup after facing the T-Wolves, it shows that you could take away a couple of things that the Knicks do well, but that bench unit is definitely going to be another option. But once again, a lot of our troubles tend to be self-inflicted, particularly when we're going up against the well-disciplined, well-managed teams. And just having this second marquee matchup of the week after facing the Timberwolves, it still doesn't quite give us the idea of what this Knicks team really could be. They haven't had the stretch of games yet that they had last year in January, where you can get a good idea of where this team is at. It's still early, but we just haven't seen the consistency of it yet. Now in the Knicks' third marquee matchup of the week against the Phoenix Suns, a team that has the expectations to at least reach the NBA Finals this season. I think things were a bit underestimated, as this team was underwhelmed with no Kevin Durant, and even one of their sharpshooters, Grayson Allen, was also out. But even through all these injuries, this team was still coming into this matchup in a 6-game winning streak, including a victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves with no Devin Booker. And at the tail end of that winning streak, they're also pulling out victories with no Kevin Durant in that lineup. So this team is coming in red hot, and they have a defensive coach in Frank Vogel, and they have a lot of players that can sustain some sort of offense. Even though guys are on minimum contracts, guys can sustain some sort of offense. And ironically, early in the season, this roster actually does not let up a lot of three-point shots, and they actually lead the league in team blocks. So right here is a prime example of the Phoenix Suns just being in sync defensively. And once again, coming into this game, they're in a 6-game winning streak, the first 2 without Devin Booker, and the last 2 without Kevin Durant and Grayson Allen. You're going to see right here on the switch, Booker and Cowie just sticks with their man. Look at that. Nice switch. Eubanks picks up on the drop coverage. Everybody's pretty much recovered right here. And look at Eubanks. He keeps up with RJ right here. RJ got nowhere to go. The big man still keeping up with him. And then pay attention right here to the help defense by Okogie. Yeah, these guys are in sync. These guys got high confidence coming into this matchup. But early on in this game right here, you're going to see the attention that Booker draws in. As once again, I said, the Suns have guys who can sustain somewhat offense, even though they're on minimum contracts. But Devin Booker in this matchup plays the point guard role, and look at the type of attention that he draws just being in that pocket. Look at Grimes with the double team, because Booker is that threat, and that's going to be one of the catalysts for the Suns this season, is that they're going to utilize situations like this, because you're going to have to double team one of their guys, whether it be Beal, Durant, or Booker, and they're hoping one of those other guys are going to be wide open to either take it to the cup or for a three-point shot. But in this matchup here, Devin Booker he played the point guard role and he drew a lot of attention. And remember, I said that the Suns do have role players on minimum contracts that can sustain offense, as Eric Gordon definitely went off in this game. Once again, pay attention to the type of attraction Devin Booker draws. Is going to lead to the extra man just being open here. Now, very early on, once again, the Knicks are putting on a concerted effort to block and double team Devin Booker off this flare screen. Booker gets the ball, and then he gets double teamed right here. But look at Eric Gordon. If he starts making his run right here, he could get a pass to be wide open. But the Knicks are definitely put the AP out on Booker. Once again, Booker generating offense. Look at RJ, fully commits on this stunt right here. Fully commits. And then you're going to have Eric Gordon right here wide open, and he can hit those. Once again, they have guys who can sustain their offense. But everything is running off of Booker just being that initial point guard and attacking. Now, even though they subbed their bench unit in pretty early, and then now Devin Booker subbed right back in with their bench unit, they're still killing us in those minutes. And just look at this unit's cohesiveness, I would say, right here. Look at Hart. He's wide open. But just look at the movement of this defense. Remember, this is a Frank Vogel defense, so it's not shocking. Look at guys recovering. And the Knicks just get a tough contested shot instead. So throughout this game with the bench units, the Knicks lost that battle 43-35. So in this play right here, we're going to see the attention Devin Booker draws once again. As Josh Hart, he's going to stunt in a little bit more as Devin Booker takes a step forward. And this is pretty much the evolution of players like Devin Booker. The next evolution is for him to actually read, make the proper reads off that pick and roll. Is he going to thread the needle here to, I believe this is Eubanks? Or is he going to take a step forward, kind of bait Josh Hart more in and make the initial pass here to the open man? And we see players like Anthony Edwards this season kind of making those type of reads, but those young wing players throughout the league, this is the next step for them to make that crossover into the next tier of superstardom. But the Knicks all game long just struggle with the type of attention they were giving to Devin Booker. And their role players were in sync as they were making their shots all game long. But when you have a scoring threat like Devin Booker making reads like this, making the proper passes, it's really scary. It's very similar to Luka when he makes those reads off of the pick and roll, and it becomes very hard to defend. Once again, Devin Booker making the reads right here on the weak side to Metu, man, 6'10", and he's gonna get a mismatch right here. Well, quickly. Look at that, 6'10", too easy. Once again, off this rebound, check out RJ Barrett right here as he's guarding Watanabe. Like I said, the Suns role players, they can make shots. Players that are a major threat from mid-range or just from three, like Booker, Luka, Tyrese Halliburton, once they start making great decisions off of that pick and roll of who to pass to, things become really difficult. Things get real dangerous for defenses. See, now the Knicks right here are making adjustments on communication. Look at RJ and Grimes, man. They're actually going to communicate with this screen with Booker. Good job by Grimes right there, actually stepping in front of the screen. And look at Grimes right there communicating with RJ. This shit should have been happening from the jump, because with Booker's playmaking ability, he's been killing us. Not even with scoring, just by making things happen for other guys on the court. Now we just seen in one instance when the communication is on point. Now right here, you're going to see where the communication is almost non-existent between Randall and Grimes. Non-existent right here. See that split second right there? A guy like Booker, that shit is deadly. And that's all he needs. That one split second, that's all he needs. See right there. The miscommunication, easy. Now take a look at the poor box outs that led to second chance points for the Suns all game long. Look at Metu. And it led to a foul right there. But once again, the Suns were out hustling us as they kept us off the offensive boards, and they were able to get way more offensive boards than us through a lot of scrappy plays. And once we lose in that battle, which is one of our strong points, we got to kind of pick up the pieces in other places like the bench unit and also our turnovers. So once again, in another statement game, a lot of self-inflicted things came back to haunt us. So RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes combined in this matchup played over 50 minutes, went 4 of 16 from the field for only 12 points. So these two together, just the output just does not match the starting minutes. And look at just off this miss, this offensive board by Quentin Grimes. Nice fake handoff move to RJ. But look, he has a clear path to the cup for a little floater or something. But look what he does instead. He pulls it back. He could still maintain his dribble here because these two defenders right here get confused for a quick second. They leave him wide open, but he gives up that dribble. See right there, like why did he give it up? But again, nothing was going for Grimes and RJ from the three-point range. So they don't have to settle for these shots all the time. But something is up with Grimes, man, because like I said before, he puts the ball on the ground, things happen. You know, he's really good off of just getting other guys in stride, finding them for the assist. And I don't know why, just at times he just gives up his dribble, or he's just always trying to get rid of the ball like a hot potato. But I don't know, I think it's something with confidence, but something is definitely up with Grimes right now. As his minutes going into December from November, it's just steadily going down. It's just steadily going down. He better hope that DiVincenzo doesn't get hot. But the Knicks overall had great production from Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, especially from Randle in that third quarter. He was just a monster. And Emmanuel quickly, even though he wasn't really shooting well in this game, he got to the line a lot and kept his foot on the Phoenix Suns' neck, especially heading into that fourth quarter. But unfortunately, him and that bench unit lost the battle versus the Suns bench as they were outscored 43-35. As the ball movement for the Phoenix Suns overall was a lot better than the Knicks, and it led to them having way more assists. As the Suns had 27, the Knicks had about 18. And the Knicks they're averaging way below the league average in team assists right now, which is not good. And leading into the Knicks having lack of ball movement led to a lot of struggles, particularly from RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes. As in the 50 minutes combined that they played, they went 4-16 from the field for only 12 points. So just think about it. We lost the game by basically a buzzer beater, but once again, we had kind of a dud output from our starting shooting guard and small forward. But the Suns, even though they had a lot of injuries, this matchup was another statement game because their role players were clicking in all cylinders. Gordon, Eubanks, Goodwin, Little, Watanabe, Bates, everybody was doing the dirty work and making their shots. So I don't know if the Knicks were kind of underestimating this team because they did start off the first quarter very sluggish. And then things kind of picked up in the middle of the second quarter and kind of kept the same pace through the third and fourth quarter. But once again, the Suns were out hustling us as they kept us off the offensive boards, and they were able to get way more offensive boards than us through a lot of scrappy plays. And once we lose in that battle, which is one of our strong points, we got to kind of pick up the pieces in other places like the bench unit and also our turnovers. So once again, in another statement game, a lot of self-inflicted things came back to haunt us in that fourth quarter, as this was pretty much a blown opportunity and a very capable win against a team that's pretty much in a situation where they're having to call their next man up due to certain injuries and circumstances. So pretty much this right here is what killed us all night. This pick and roll, and this is not even as high. They usually set it right around here for Dame. So now Mitch is going to have to respect Dame. He's going to have to guard him here. He can't just play that drop back defense that Tibbs likes him to play just to get in the way. Now Grimes right here completely caught. He has to go over the top. And we all know the big man right here, Lopez, he can roll as well as he could shoot threes. He could step back and shoot three-point shots. Now Mitch right here, he has to respect Dame. And once again, the roller is going to create a lot of action right here. More attention has to be drawn from Randle. And of course, this is where the Bucks tend to set you up right here, as Lopez is one of the big men, but the real big man right here that's putting in all the work, leaves it right open for Giannis. And this pretty much killed us all night. Just that high pick and roll with Dame up top, the fact that the Knicks have to respect it and they normally play drop back defense. And we seen early on in this season, man, just going up against KP, there's something with the stretch bigs, man, the defense. And honestly, the only way to fix this is to get the communication on point. So just a way of fixing this is that the communication would have to be early, like right here. There should have been some communication between Grimes and Mitch already for Grimes to go under the screen. I know it's Dame. We don't want to even go under the screen sometimes because that's going to leave an open shot for Dame. But the communication just got to be on point, man. Oh, and it's going to be tough. That's why the Bucks are a tough matchup for us. Okay, so right here we get a nice aerial view. Something about these pick and rolls with just dragging Mitch up here. Look how high up top Mitch is. Mitch is real uncomfortable up here. All right, damn. Did they run a double screen? Got Bobby P right here. But at the end of the day, the Knicks gonna have to respect Dame, and this is where a lot of the confusion comes from. But we're gonna check out two things right here. Just what could they have done different on the screen right here? Okay, so Mitch has to respect Dame's shot, but look at Brook on the roll. Yeah, they ran a 3-man action right here. Bobby P rolled out for the open 3-point shot. You see, Randall's gonna have to follow him in here, and Bobby P is gonna be open. Okay, so let's look at this again, and we got two players. This is like a double screen right here, but I don't think Bobby P is gonna screen at all. It's gonna do like a ghost screen and just either, if he can, make his way down or just pop out. But Brook Lopez is the initial screener. Okay, so Grimes is caught. Grimes is caught, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to stick with the big man, especially when the big man rolls. But look at the conundrum it puts Randall in. Look at the conundrum. Who to guard? Because we all know Lopez is going to roll right here. As he rolls, okay, so Dame already gave it up. But as he rolls, I just want to focus on the initial pick and roll because that's how we got killed in this game. But as he rolls, let's say Dame held, did a fake pass. He would have had another additional pass to Bobby P by the time you looked over because Randall's all the way down here with Brook Lopez. It's going to be up to Brunson to recover. This is the defensive communication really got to be on point. So the second part I want to look at here is the defensive rebounding. As when Middleton shoots it, we're going to take a look at Randall. And we're just going to look at Brunson. Brunson could have did nothing about it, but just look at the non-box out by Randall. Allow Bobby P to get there. Mitch possibly could have got the rebound if Randall had boxed out. And lucky for the Knicks, look at that. He just straight up missed an easy layup. But it's the little things that tend to add up in these games. The Bucks really had it going. Just everyone for them was just hitting. AJ Green, just three pointers in that first quarter really killed us. Once again, look at AJ Green right there in that corner. So right here, once again, AJ Green looking like Steve Novak out here. Just swishing everything. That's 3 in the first quarter alone. It's something about the Knicks this season, just early on with the stretch fives. Just look off this pick. Okay. Dante stunts as Lopez rolls. But Bobby P is going to end up with the open shot here. But I just want to see the options. Because in a way, AJ Green, who got hot in the first quarter with those 3-3-pointers, he's technically open. But obviously the easier pass would be to Bobby P. But maybe Randall needs to stunt more. Maybe he needs to stunt more, but too many guys are wide open. The Bucks got a lot of wide open shots, as Bobby P was also able to make that. But this is something that we struggled with during the Phoenix matchup. They also had a lot of guys hitting wide open shots, especially with the ball movement that they had. Because coming into that matchup, ironically enough, those role players, they were on a high. They were in sync defensively as well as offensively, and they were moving the ball around a lot. And the Knicks just gave up too many open threes. And so far in the 2 matchups against the Bucks, they shot 55% in one matchup, and in this matchup they shot 60% from 3. So in both of our meetings in the regular season with the Bucks, we actually had them have the highest 3-point percentages that they had all season. 55% in our first matchup, they were shooting from 3, and of course in this game they're shooting 60%. But for the most part, in no other scenario throughout the early part of the season had they had this much success. Both times is only versus the Knicks. So our 3-point defense is definitely gonna have to get cleaned up. So right here, pay attention to the clock. This is our first 3-pointer of this game right here, by Quick. So 8 minutes left in the second quarter. That is our first 3-pointer of the game, and we're only down by 3 points. It's gonna be 50-53. So with the Bucks and the addition of Damian Lillard, they pretty much sacrificed their defense. As so far, even though it's just early on in the season, the Bucks are one of the worst defensive teams in transition, whether they miss a shot or off their own turnovers. Pay attention to the shot clock here, as Randall's gonna get this off within 16 seconds. So right here off this Bobby Portis miss, the Knicks are gonna quickly score in transition because the Bucks, once again, they're just not that team. They're last in the league, whether they missed a shot or they turn the ball over. They're last in the league. They give up points real fast in transition. Within 10 seconds. A lot of our points in this matchup, a lot of our points in the first half particularly came from this type of scenario. Just us scoring quickly in transition, because just with the 3-point shot not falling, the fact that we made our first 3-point shot with like 8 minutes left in the second quarter, it just really says a lot about the Bucks defense. Just looking at right here, whether it's a miss or make, the Bucks are last in the league in transition. They give up a bucket in 10 seconds. Look at that. This is off a make. Once again, whether it's a miss or make, in both of those statistical categories, the Bucks are last in the league in transition defense. So right here off this make, we're going to see how fast the Knicks score in transition. This is where a lot of our points came from. 18 seconds. 18 seconds only took. And that's off of them making the shot. Let's look at Middleton off this make. Pay attention to the clock. Damn. That's 10 seconds right there. Now you see how we stayed in this game in the first half with just that awful 3-point shooting that we had. Look at the Knicks off this miss. DiVincenzo pushing up the pace. How much time went by? 20 seconds left. So this game, potentially, it could have been a blowout in the first half because we're last in the league in pace. So if we didn't do some uncharacteristic shit like push up the pace, you know, right now this game could be a blowout only in the second quarter, because that slow half-court grinding offense that just shoots a bunch of threes, it just hasn't been working. Now Giannis in transition off a make. Pay attention to the clock. 19 seconds. Rand already scores. Now for both teams, I'm wondering which is the bigger conundrum. The fact that the Knicks are just missing open shots, or the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks in transition, whether they make a shot or not, that they give up so many points within 10 seconds. I don't know which one is a harder thing to fix, but the Knicks are just, at this very moment, are just not getting anything from 3, but yet they still put up 83 points with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and they're still only down by single digits. I know the Bucks do have Giannis and Dame, and some people think that they're levels ahead of us, but we're really not that far off. Just a few key things about our boxing out, our rebounding, cutting down on the turnovers. We could be right back in this because they're shooting on a all-time, like some sort of legendary status right here, man. They're third all-time that they finished in this game in 3-point field goal percentage. I mean, if you look at it, if Robin Lopez hadn't missed a shot in garbage time, they would have finished number 1 in all time in a single game for 3-point shooting percentage for a team. So it takes them to shoot like that to only be up single digits. Once again, I don't know which team has a bigger conundrum, but I believe the Knicks could solve their issues a lot faster than the Bucks could, especially due to the fact that the Bucks have a bunch of high salary players, not a lot of draft assets, so they can't really fix their team up. But the Knicks, we still have a bunch of young players. We have all our picks. We could make something happen. But the NBA does a great job of marketing their superstars, because in reality, Giannis and Dame, it does sound good, but at the end of the day, you got teams like the Knicks who don't really have guys on this type of level who's considered, at least a top 10, but yet they're so close and they're so almost evenly matched. It's so strange. And the Knicks are really just a piece away from actually being on the same level. They didn't really have to even get a superstar. They just got to get another guy who can rebound and just fit into the system well. Okay, so bug-eyed Bobby P makes this shot right here. And just pay attention to the shot clock. 21 seconds, 20 seconds, 19, and we already scored. Okay, so right here, this is the second time I'm seeing this with the Bucks running these type of screens right here for Dame to choose which way to go. But the Knicks are pretty much doomed from the start, because look at that. You got Middleton on 6'4" Dante, and then you got Giannis, who's really a big man, on 6'4" Josh Hart. And just look at the defending. Okay, Lopez rolls. Mitch, man, I know Mitch is stuck right here. It's like what to do, because you gotta respect Dame from out here. He's gotta get in the way as quickly he recovers. This is the conundrum right here. Mitch has to step up. See, normally Mitch would just get in the way, but when you have to respect Dame, this is the only game where Mitch just reverts to just actually stepping up. Not even worrying about quickly just recovering. He has to step up. But it just leaves on the roll. It just leaves Lopez wide open. Look at the defenders on the back end. Smallest guards. And look at Middleton. If he wanted to swing it over again, I wanted to get a little fancy, but shit, it's just too easy. And we got too many small guys on the floor. Too many small guys on the floor. So this is what I mean at times Mitchell Robinson gets lost. See, right after chasing down Dame, he gets comfortable down here. He forgets there's a stretch big man that's way out here. And just peep Mitch. You gotta peep Mitch right here. Look at his reaction. It's like, oh yeah. There's a closeout. Brook Lopez missed that one, but still, it's just a reaction time. So Mitch just follows him down there. But still, Mitch Robinson gets real comfortable down low. And you could look back to my previous video that I did on the Knicks and Bucks first matchup of the season, in which Mitch at times defensively got comfortable with the idea just the big man will follow him down low, that he's stuck down there. Not realizing until it's the last second that Brook Lopez was parking way out in the perimeter. He's parking from here, up top, all over. And just like how, right here he has to run back and just close out, he sort of does the same thing in the first matchup. Once again, there's a reason why the Bucks 3-point shooting percentage was good for the season, pretty much the only 2 times that they faced the Knicks. So in this inbound play right here, the fact that Brook Lopez is way out here and Mitch has to kind of respect it, it doesn't allow him to be in the restricted area and just, be that anchor for that team that is known to just pretty much beat up other teams. We can't really be that with the way the Bucks roster is just constructed. They have a stretch 5 along with a power forward that's really a big man in Giannis. And as you see, he pretty much walked Julius Randle down to the rim. So the Milwaukee Bucks presently, the way that they're constructed, Brook Lopez is the reason why they're a bad matchup for us. It's not necessarily the duo of Giannis and Dame. It's really Brook Lopez that presents an issue for us. Not only he gets rid of just Mitch's character, just bringing that defensive anchor down low for us by stretching him out way out here to the perimeter, but at the same time, Brook Lopez, he alters the shots and just the chances. Look at Brunson right here. Doesn't put up his floater. Lopez is a present in the paint. And then look at Randle as he comes back in. Brook Lopez alters his shot again. He was doing that all night. And he's pretty much the reason why the Bucks can kind of exploit our lineup, because running pick and roll with Dame way out here is going to cause issues, especially when you have another big man where you can't leave him in a area which he has too much space to operate. It's just a complete mismatch. And it's going to leave their three-point shooters, guys like Middleton, guys like Cameron Payne, and unfortunately that night Beasley just wide open. But you're starting to see the different layers that Brook Lopez kind of brings to this team. And like I said, the way their roster is constructed, they do draw a tough matchup for the Knicks. Now, as we go to the aerial view here, take a look at Brook Lopez. He's setting this shit up early. He just called for Chris Middleton and Beasley to go and form the strong side here. And they're going to roll a pick and roll action with Giannis setting up the pick right here. And then look where Brook Lopez is at. He's going to be chilling right here at the corner. Look at the options it sets up. So Mitch now has to stunt. And you have the Greek Freak right here who could just roll right to the hoop. So that's going to really draw a lot of attention. And it leaves Brook Lopez, the stretch five, wide open again. And at the same time, the Knicks, they're going to have to respect Dame because he can pull up right here. So this is the matchup issues. But a lot of this is really stems from the Bucks having Brook Lopez. He kind of opens up all these options. So let's take a look at it again. As you can see, Lopez calls for the guys to go on the other side. Now, early on in the play, I would say what could have helped them is if Grimes actually stunted early. If Grimes actually stunted early and forced Dame to make a play on the strong side. That in a way is the only way it could have been avoided. Let's take a look at it right here again. So right here, there's no way for Grimes to even tell because he has so much focus on Dame. We're just doing Monday morning quarterback right here. But that's the only way this play could have been avoided. If Grimes stunted right now. If he stunted now, as these guys are transitioning to make the left side the strong side, that's the only way to avoid it. Because look, right now, here's a setup. Look at Giannis. Lopez. We all know when Giannis rolls, all the attention has got to be on Giannis. Yeah, it's too late. Now, Randall, once again, the Knicks, they clearly had a game plan for Dame. Was to put the ball pressure and force other guys to make shots, which is the right play because the Bucks have been playing like shit, especially with their shooting against other teams, ironically, where Giannis has to have 40-point games while shooting 70%, but yet they need a last-second bucket. Doesn't it look familiar to Damian Lillard in Portland? He scored all these points, but yet they still needed a last-second shot all the time. So you start to see where the Knicks, pretty much to me, it seems like their game plan was to force Dame to give the ball up to allow other guys to make shots. But unfortunately for them, they shot historical in this game. But look at Giannis as the initial roller. It's still an issue. You're going to have to double team right here. Yeah, there's nothing for Mitch to do right here. See, once the pick comes, you're going to have to double team. You're going to have to double team because Mitch already sensed it. It's going to be Giannis to roll. Look at this. Giannis has a perfect way to roll too. See, if Dame somehow could thread the needle, but even if he couldn't, he could pull up. He could pull up. And then he also has Lopez. So once again, it's just a lot of matchup problems. Yeah, Dame could have tossed the ball over his head. Back to Giannis, and you already know the Greek Freak is an issue going downhill like that. It's a major issue. But once again, the guy that makes it all happen, Brook Lopez. Having the stretch five here gives the guys running pick and roll another option. And this is what really has killed Mitch throughout this whole matchup. Mitch has no choice right here. He's just trapped. I'm always saying Mitchell Robinson is the heart and soul of the Knicks offense. Even though he's not a scorer or anything like that, his offensive boards do help us get second chance points, which keeps us being one of the top teams in the league at offensive efficiency. And so far in the marquee matchups, I would say for this season, against the T-Wolves, the Suns, the Heat, and now the Bucks, they pretty much took away one of our go-to punches, which is his rebounding. And out of all these matchups, I would say the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks of just execute Mitch not getting offensive boards the best. The Bucks reason, because of course they have a true big man, but the Heat do actually perfectly because of their 2-3 zone defense and also sticking Kevin Love on Mitch, because Kevin Love could really box out. Especially when Brunson tries to get to his sweet spot, those bunnies are not falling. It's just hard for Mitch to just dominate like he always does. Can't do that on Brook Lopez. But once a good team start taking away this ability of the Knicks, it'll be very interesting to see what counterpunches Tibbs draws up, because having lineups like Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart at the same time, or just DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, RJ Barrett, it's just it's not going to work out well. The offensive rebounds are not going to be coming as abundant as before. Once again, take a look at Brook Lopez right here. Being that pest. And then Middleton gets an open 3. See, normally we're used to doing that to other teams, and now it's get back time. Going up against a guy who used to be a traditional center and evolved to being also a 3-point center, things are going to get rough. Once again, I'm wondering if Brook Lopez just causes just havoc in the paint, because usually Brunson makes those. Yeah, usually this is like an easy bunny for Brunson. So we're going to see right here how Mitchell Robinson kind of respects the spacing from Brook Lopez a little bit too much, that he made the wrong move right here. We're going to take a look at Giannis right here. He's rolling. Mitch should have stuck with him, but Lopez has been killing the Knicks. Just from out here, that Mitch actually follows Lopez instead, leaving Giannis wide open. He only has a split second to make that decision. I can't fault Mitch for that, but that's how much respect in this game Lopez has just kind of earned, you know, because once again, he's been killing us from 3. He's that threat way out there. Once again, Brook Lopez was just a problem for us. Just his battle with Mitch. Mitch completely lost that battle as he gets blocked right here, even on the finish. Now we see what happens when Randall and Mitch gets the switch. Giannis is just way too fast for Mitchell Robinson. He's just way too fast for him. Way too strong, way too fast. You know what's the craziest part? This was Quentin Grimes' only shot attempt for the whole game. Wide open 3. That was his only shot attempt. Ironic enough, for all the statement games I covered in this video, he's been pretty much non-existent for all of them. In Minnesota, he went 0 for 6. In Miami, he went 1 for 4. In Phoenix, he went 1 for 5. In this game, this is his only shot. And Grimes did make a statement after this game talking about how every shot he shoots feels like it probably weighs 100 pounds. And I'm telling you, boy, that tightrope around his neck is going to get tighter and tighter by Tibbs just playing him in less and less minutes. So he's going to feel the squeeze. He's sort of going to be pushed in the same situation Obi was once in, where he had very limited minutes and he felt like any mistake he made, those minutes would then get pulled. So once again, that rope is getting tighter and tighter around Grimes' neck. And the only thing that pretty much saves him right now is that DiVincenzo is not really making a crazy push to take his starting minutes, and quickly provides too much of a spark off the bench to actually play him too many minutes with the starters. But it wouldn't shock me if the Knicks address their shooting guard issues at the trade deadline, perhaps by just getting a real small forward and transitioning RJ back to that shooting guard position. So the RJ and Chris Middleton matchup right here was one that we lost this night, which is really underrated. But look at RJ Barrett here, as Chris Middleton is not really as mobile, but he can't get through it, and then he misses the finish right here. It's interesting enough, RJ couldn't shake Chris Middleton, even though he's a lot bigger, but just him coming off that injury, he's not as mobile as he once was. But when you combine that with RJ's 3-point shooting in this matchup and some of the turnovers that Chris Middleton was able to get on him, you start to see where things begin to pile up. Now, Chris Middleton right here, low-key in this matchup, was a sniper all night. He had about 14 points on 50% shooting. And when you have to respect the pick and roll with just Dame having a stretch 5 and Brook Lopez and having Giannis just making cuts, you know, right to the hoop, a big man like that, it creates a lot of issues. And we really have another thing going for us, is that we have a bunch of 6'4" guards and just no real small forward on the floor. You're going to see right here Middleton sort of attacking the weak side. And Malik Beasley, he makes the proper cut right here before the post up. bringing Brunson along with him and completely leaving Grimes and Middleton on the island right here on the weak side. See? Good cut to bring him down here. Now he's by himself. That's way too easy. Way too easy for Middleton. And it would not shock me if the Knicks go out during the trade deadline to get a small forward. I should say to get a true small forward. Now, even though the Bucks pretty much are one of the worst transition defensive teams, we're not that far behind them technically. But if you look at Middleton right here, he cooks RJ completely, gets by him. And earlier, as we've seen, RJ was struggling to get by the sort of immobile Middleton, especially after his injury. But this is just too easy. I don't know, because, you know, Middleton's a real small forward if it's just RJ's too small. But that right there was just way too easy. RJ Barrett not only is giving up a lot of points, RJ Barrett is only adding to the additional losing battle with Chris Middleton by turning the ball over. As it leads to fast break points. RJ gets a wide open three-point shot off a rare Knicks offensive rebound in this game. But he wasn't on one today. Again, those rare offensive rebounds throughout this game presented a lot of open shots for guys as RJ Barrett misses another open three. Right here's another prime example of us just being too small. Bobby P on the power forward, Josh Hart. Look at everybody else. Grimes on a guard, Brunson on the guard, Mitchell with a center. RJ's too small. Hart is too small. Knicks are kind of playing too small at times. Look at that, too easy. Once again, you got the 6'7" Middleton right on Josh Hart. Just shoots right over him. We were down single digits before then. Now Jalen Brunson right here off this high screen, he's going to miss some easy bunnies. And this happened throughout this game. Even though he had 24 points, it wasn't done as efficient as Dame. But just off this pick and roll here, I want to go back real quick. I would love the Knicks to run more actions right here. They could easily toss a flare screen by Julius Randle to get Grimes open. But nothing kind of happens here. But once again, Brunson, that's a bunny right there. And a few of these happened throughout the match, as it was kind of an off night for Brunson in a way. So just respecting the high pick and roll with Dame, it just caused a lot of problems because even with Quickly not doing good off the bench with his scoring, Cameron Payne just going 2 for 3, just actually benefiting off of this pick and roll right here, as they're going to have to respect Dame. Mitch steps up to him. Look at Giannis on the roll. And then RJ fully's committed because it's Giannis, man. You already know how that is. So you have to double team out here because of Dame. And then you also got to double team anywhere in here because of Giannis. And then other guys are going to eat, and they were able to capitalize. Look at Cameron Payne. Man, everybody was hitting threes for the Bucks. Once again, that Quickly Cameron Payne battle, we just really didn't win it. Quickly does a good job going under the screen. Unfortunately for the Knicks, they got to respect Giannis. It's not like they could switch. In the next action right here, they can't switch because Giannis is just, it's going to be a complete mismatch. And yeah, Payne was kind of doing his thing. We lost a lot of the in-between the line battles in this matchup. So off this pick and roll, look at Brook Lopez on this drop back defense. He's going to deter the shot of Quickly. Tell you, man, Lopez wreaked havoc this whole game. He wreaked havoc this whole fucking game. I mean, even Cameron Payne getting on the action. And it took him all the way up to the fourth quarter just to go up by 20. And that's with the Knicks nowhere near hitting three-point shots at any sort of high clip. They're just bricking most of the shots. This game might have been one of those just fluky nights. Look at Giannis just pulling up. Man, this is crazy. Everybody making shots on the Bucks. I mean, once again, look at the score. The Bucks are shooting at an all-time high as a team. Like Hall of Fame legendary shit. But yet they're only up by 13. And also add on to the fact that the Knicks just can't make a three-point shot for their life right now. But it does say a lot about the Bucks' true defense and how we got to put that into proper perspective when evaluating this team. Now, even the Bucks role players are getting in on some of the magic three-point shooting. I mean, look at Marjan right here. Tough step back. It's not like they even hitting wide open shots. They're just making tough contested shots over and over. Like I said, this is some historical shooting. So on this night, what contributed to the Bucks' historical three-point shooting is Malik Beasley, as a number of his shots were even contested. As we're going to see Brunson right here on the closeout, this is well contested. And out of Beasley's 6 shots, a lot of them fell down like this. I don't know if something was up. Maybe the basketball gods were on the Bucks side or something that night. I don't know what was going on. Everybody was hitting. Now right here, look at Giannis call for this ghost screen to Malik Beasley. And this shot is contested. He's been hitting these all day, all these contested shots. Look at Beasley looking like 2021 Jordan Poole right here. These guys are hitting tough step back shots. I don't want to call this a fluky game, but shit. The Bucks as a team do not perform like this on a night-to-night basis. Look at Brook Lopez right here off this miss. Gives the Bucks a second chance opportunity. Usually this is the Knicks right here. This is the Knicks in reverse. We usually do this to other teams. But yeah, Beasley shooting about 60% from 3. So Giannis almost loses it right here. And Beasley just hits his last 3-point shot. Is he twerking? What the hell's going on over there? I tell you what, the basketball guys must really not like us today for him to pull off a move like that. Oh boy. So at the end of November, this is pretty much the first round of games that this roster really has been tested. Ever since getting Quentin Grimes back for the Minnesota Timberwolves game, that was the first time we had a full roster healthy. You know, things kind of been up and down going up against the Heat, Suns, and now in the play-in knockout round against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Knicks have shown that from quarter to quarter, there is sometimes a lot of inconsistency. And when you have a lot of disappearing acts from certain key players, guys like RJ Barrett, who've pretty much began to cool off from his hot start, and most importantly, Quentin Grimes, his minutes throughout November have seen a dip leading into December. And the minutes that he's lost is not like someone else has made up for him. Guys like Dante DiVincenzo really haven't made that push to sort of claim those minutes. It's almost like it's been sprinkled subtly to guys like him, maybe quickly. But to have Grimes out there getting multiple games with 0 points, it's not going to work in a scoring league no matter how good your defense is. But a good sign to see is that Julius Randle looks like he's getting back into form, especially after the Milwaukee game. I don't know if it was a postseason surgery, but he looks like he's back at it. And the Knicks' lack of size, particularly going up against the T-Wolves and the Milwaukee Bucks, it really tends to show. We got $18 million sitting in our bench, aka Evan Fournier, and we do have a need for a small forward, like a real small forward. Because at times, especially against the good teams, it creates way too many mismatch issues. But one thing for certain that stands out in all these statement games is the importance of Mitchell Robinson. When he's not getting those offensive boards, when he's not able to be that dominant presence in the paint defensively, it almost causes a domino effect on this team. As we've seen the more veteran, polished teams like the Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns, and Milwaukee Bucks sort of found a way to neutralize his presence. As those were the games that the Knicks were not able to get second chance points, particularly from the offensive rebounding from Mitchell Robinson, which is key to our offense. But it's definitely still early, and the first gauntlet that we went through, things will look a little bit rocky, but it's not the end of the road though. It's not the end of the road, but the month of December is going to be crazy. Not only we're meeting up with the Bucks 2 more times, but we're also going to be on a West Coast trip and play against teams like the Lakers and Clippers and the Phoenix Suns 1 more time. But it's the end of the month of December. That sort of kills me because low-key, that matchup against OKC is going to be very difficult because that team presents a lot of matchup issues. And also, we're going to go and play against the red-hot Orlando Magic and Indiana Pacers. Up-and-coming teams that have pretty much nothing to lose. So night in, night out, most teams, they got to be on the A game going up against these guys. But after a tough November with a bunch of back-to-backs, the Knicks' early season calendar continues to produce a tough schedule. But I particularly had these games circled in my calendar as the first measurement of where the Knicks could possibly be at. But I based this off of what teams are currently doing, as the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently sitting at the top of the West. The Miami Heat, a well-coached group that performs consistent from quarter to quarter, and they always know how to take away our strengths and kind of force us to the things that we don't like to do. So it's always a chess match going up against that team. And the Phoenix Suns, even though injury riddled, they were on a 6-game winning streak before they came into Madison Square Garden, and their role players were definitely clicking offensively and defensively. And of course, the Milwaukee Bucks, who are second place in the Eastern Conference. So this was a good, I would say, first trial to see where the Knicks are at. But I expect when player eligibility opens up December 15th to be traded, I expect the Knicks to be active, particularly at the number 3 position, and they possibly need another shooter. But we'll see. Until next time, you fellas, stay safe. Peace.